Good morning. Today's lesson is on 5-5 proportions. A proportion is simply two equivalent ratios. But let's take a step back and remember what a ratio is. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities. There are three ways to express ratios. One is using the colon. Number two is using the word to. And finally, the best one for our purposes is using a fraction. You are going to use a fraction. The first method for solving proportions is to think of them as equivalent fractions. You've done this before. You've totally got this. Look at this first example in blue. 3/4 is to n over 8. What you want to do is look for an easy relationship. Down here, to go from 4 to 8, you simply multiply by 2. So since they are equivalent fraction, you multiply this by 2. And so you know that n has to equal 6. The problem in green. 5 is to y as 15 is to 9. Look for simple relationships. Now we're trying to find a missing number on the left side. So I'm going to look for my pattern going left. To go from 15 to 5, I have to divide by 3. So going left, I have to divide 9 by 3. And so I get y is equal to 3. And down on the bottom, in red, I could simplify a fraction first, but I'm just going to stick with looking for those easy relationships. And since I am looking for a value on the right, I want to look for that pattern. To get from 30 to 3, I have to divide by 10. So here, I want to divide by 10. And 50 divided by 10 is 5. And so C is equal to 5. If you look at these two proportions, you might notice that you cannot find easy relationships to start with. For example, there is no easy relationship here between 2 and 3. However, if you look at this fraction, 2 over 6, you might say, I could simplify that because it's just a fraction. And if you simplify 2 over 6, you can simplify those both by 2, so you get 1 over 3. Now, there is an easy relationship that exists there. To go from 1 to 3, you multiply by 3. So then to get m, going to the left, you simply multiply by 3. So you take 3 times 3, and m is equal to 9. The second example, 12 is to 15, as 8 is to d. Again, notice there's no easy relationship between 8 and 12. You can't multiply by 2 or divide by 4. You can't do that. However, if you look at 12 over 15, you might realize that you can simplify both of those by 3. If you divide both of those by 3, 12 becomes 4 and 15 becomes 5. And this is okay because that is just a fraction. We would always encourage you to simplify a fraction. So then, when you look, now there is that easy relationship. To get from 4 to 8, you multiply by 2. So all you have to do is do the exact same thing to your denominator, which is 5. So you would take 5 times 2, and then you know that D is equal to 10. Method 3 is using cross products. And if you want to stick with one method that always works, this is it. So cross products works every time with proportions. And all that cross product says is that you can multiply your means and extremes and they are equivalent. And you actually don't really have to worry about the terms means and extremes yet. What you can do is think about multiplying in this order and setting them equal to each other. So if you take 2 times x, that is equivalent to 2x. And then if you take 3 times 4, you get 12. And now all you have is a basic equation. So you would divide both sides by 2, and you would get x is equal to 6. And if you plug in 6 for x, you can see then that there is that easy relationship, 2 times 2 and 3 times 2. So those are equivalent fractions. But we use the method of using cross products. Take a look at our proportion in green. 5 is to 6 as n is to 10. There's no easy relationship between your denominators 6 and 10. You also cannot simplify your fraction 5/6. So we are going to use the method of using cross products. So we are going to take 5 times 10, which is 50. And then we're going to take 6 times n, which can be written as 6n. So then I am going to take 50 and divide it by 6. Now that doesn't work out perfectly, but it's fine because we've had a lot of practice dividing with decimals. So I'm going to do 50 divided by 6, and I'm going to add my decimal on there. And I know that 6 can go into 50 8 times, and I'm going to subtract and get 2. And I'm going to bring down my 0, and 6 goes into 20 3 times, and I get 18. And I subtract, and I get 2, and I'm really sorry, I'm running out of room. I dropped another 0. I can see that 6 is going to go into 20 3 times again. So I see that this decimal is going to repeat, and I'm not going to worry about it because I know how to write this. Since I'm running out of room, I'm going to write this solution up on top, but I know that my solution is n is equal to 8.3 repeating, so I put that bar on top. And my third example in red, I'm going to solve this one in blue so you can see. I look to see there's no easy relationship between 4 and 6. There's no fraction that I can simplify. So again, I'm going to solve this using cross products. 4 times p is equal to 4p, and 5 times 6 is equal to 30. So to solve it, all I need to do is take 30 divided by 4, which again isn't going to work out perfectly, but no worries. I add in a decimal, and I know that 4 goes into 30 7 times, and 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract and get 2 and bring down my 0, and 4 goes into 20 5 times. So p, again I'm going to write it on top because I'm running out of room, p is equivalent to 7.5. To wrap this up, I just want you to think about the 3 methods that you can use to solve proportions. The first one to look for is if there is an easy relationship between your numerators or denominators. Number 2, simplify fractions if possible. And number 3, cross products work every single time. Good luck, you got this.